My mom gave away my dog to my sister without telling me. I took him back, and now she's calling me a monster for tearing the family apart. I'm a 28-year-old guy, and my mom and I have always had a strained relationship. She's the kind of person who plays favorites, and my older sister, let's call her sister, has always been her golden child. It's been that way as long as I can remember. Sister gets what she wants, and if that means someone else has to sacrifice, so be it. That someone has usually been me. I learned to live with it, but when this whole thing with my dog, Rocky, happened, it pushed me past my breaking point. Rocky isn't just a pet. He's a Labrador mix I adopted 5 years ago when I was at one of the lowest points in my life. He's been my rock through everything, and I've poured all my love and effort into taking care of him. My mom always thought having a dog was a waste of time and energy. Sister, on the other hand, would constantly comment on how perfect Rocky would be for her kids. Every time she visited, she'd make these annoying remarks about how great it would be if they had him. Like I was supposed to just hand him over because she said so. I didn't think they'd actually act on it, though. That was my mistake. A couple of weeks ago, I had to go out of town for work. I couldn't bring Rocky, so I asked my mom if she could watch him for the weekend. She'd done it before, and while she wasn't thrilled about it, I thought it would be fine. I dropped him off on Friday and went on my trip. Sunday evening, I came back to pick him up. As soon as I got to my mom's house, I could tell something was off. Rocky wasn't in the yard or the house. Normally, he'd come running to greet me, wagging his tail like crazy, but this time nothing. I asked my mom where he was. She looked at me completely calm and said, "Oh, sister took him." She said the kids really wanted a dog, and it just made sense. I stared at her, waiting for her to laugh or say she was joking, but she didn't. "What do you mean she took him?" I asked. "She picked him up yesterday," she said, like it was the most normal thing in the world. "He'll be better off with her. She has the kids, and they've been wanting a dog forever." I couldn't believe what I was hearing. "You gave my dog away?" Without even asking me. She rolled her eyes. "Don't be so dramatic. He's just a dog. You're busy all the time, and he'll have more attention over there. It's not a big deal." I felt like I was losing my mind. "Not a big deal? He's my dog. You had no right to give him away." She looked annoyed, like I was inconveniencing her. "You're overreacting. It's better for everyone. Her kids will love him, and you'll be fine. You can always get another one." I didn't even bother arguing with her anymore. I left and drove straight to sister's house. When I got there, Rocky was tied up in the backyard. Her kids were running around screaming, waving toy swords, while he sat there clearly stressed. His leash was lying on the ground, and there was no water or food bowl in sight. Sister came out of the house, smiling like she'd just won the lottery. "Oh, hey, isn't this great? The kids are so happy." I didn't even let her finish. "I'm here to take Rocky. He's coming home with me." Her smile disappeared. "What? No, you're not. Mom said it was fine. The kids are already attached to him." "He's not yours to take," I said, walking over to Rocky and clipping his leash on. "He's my dog, and I'm taking him back." The kids started crying, and sister got all defensive. "You're seriously going to do this? Look at them. They love him already. Do you really want to break their hearts?" "I don't care," I said. "He's mine. You had no right to take him." She started yelling about how selfish I was and how I didn't understand what it was like to have kids. "You don't even need him as much as we do," she said. "You're single, you work all the time. What's the big deal?" I ignored her, picked up Rocky's leash, and walked out. She was still yelling at me as I got in my car and drove away. Rocky was shaking in the passenger seat, but as soon as we got home, he calmed down. I gave him a bath, fed him, and let him sleep on the couch while I tried to wrap my head around what just happened. Of course, it didn't end there. My mom called me an hour later, furious. "How could you do that?" she said. "You embarrassed your sister in front of her kids and made them cry. Do you even care about your family? Do you care about me?" I shot back. "Because you gave away my dog without even asking me." She didn't back down. "You're being ridiculous. It's just a dog. You're blowing this way out of proportion. He's not just a dog. He's my dog. You had no right." She kept going, saying how selfish I was and how I should think about sister and her kids. They're going through a lot, and this was something that made them happy. You couldn't just let them have this one thing. It's not one thing. It's my dog. If they want a pet, they can get their own. She didn't like that answer. You're so selfish. You're going to ruin this family with your attitude. I hung up after that. There was no point in arguing with her. She clearly didn't care about what was right or fair. She just cared about keeping sister and her kids happy, no matter the cost. But it didn't stop there. Sister started texting me nonstop, accusing me of being heartless. She even posted about it on Facebook, saying how I stole her kids' new dog and how devastated they were. Some of our extended family saw it and started messaging me, asking why I would do something so cruel. I had to explain the whole story just to get them to understand. A few of them took my side, but most of them just said I should let it go for the sake of keeping the peace. As if giving away my dog was something I should just brush off. I decided I'd had enough. I blocked sister on social media and told my mom I wasn't going to talk to her until she apologized. Not that I expected her to. She's never been good at admitting when she's wrong. But cutting contact didn't stop their entitlement. About a week after I brought Rocky home, I got another phone call from my mom. This time, she had a new demand. Sister wants to know if you'll bring Rocky over on the weekends, she said, as if it was a perfectly reasonable request. What? I said. Why would I do that? For the kids, she replied, as if I was stupid for not understanding. They've been crying ever since you took him back. You could at least let them see him sometimes. No, I said flatly. Rocky isn't some shared custody arrangement. He's my dog. If they want to see him so badly, they can get their own dog. She didn't take that well. You're being unreasonable. The kids miss him so much. You don't have to be so cruel. I'm not the one who gave him away without asking, I snapped. If anyone's being cruel, it's you and sister for thinking this was okay in the first place. She hung up on me after that, but I wasn't surprised. She's always had a way of making herself the victim, even when she's clearly in the wrong. Then sister decided to take things a step further. She showed up at my apartment unannounced, banging on the door like a maniac. When I opened it, she pushed her way inside and started yelling. You're unbelievable, she shouted. Do you know what you're doing to my kids? They're heartbroken. And whose fault is that? I said, crossing my arms. You knew Rocky wasn't yours to take. You're the one who got their hopes up, not me. She didn't like that. You're so selfish. You're a grown man with no responsibilities. You don't even need him as much as we do. Need him? I laughed. You don't need my dog. You just wanted him because you thought you could get away with it. Newsflash, you can't. She kept going, ranting about how I didn't understand what it was like to have kids and how I was ruining their lives. I told her to leave, but she refused. I ended up having to call the cops just to get her out of my apartment. After that, I decided to take extra precautions. I installed a security camera outside my door and made sure Rocky's microchip was up to date with all my information. I even told my building manager not to let anyone claiming to be family into the building without my permission. But the entitlement didn't stop there. A few days later, my mom called again, this time with a new scheme. Sister and I were talking, she said, and we think you should help her with a down payment on a bigger house. I couldn't help but laugh. What are you talking about? Well, you're single, she said, like that explained everything. You don't have as many expenses, and she has the kids. It's only fair. Fair, I said, still laughing. You think it's fair for me to hand over my savings because sister can't manage her money? She's a mother, my mom said, as if that was supposed to make it make sense. You should want to help her. Let me get this straight, I said. First, you give away my dog. Then you demand I bring him over on weekends like some kind of visiting parent. And now you want me to hand over my money? Are you out of your mind? She started going on about how family is supposed to support each other and how I wasn't doing my part. I told her I'd done more than enough by putting up with her nonsense for years and hung up. It didn't stop there, though. Sister started spreading more rumors, telling people I was refusing to help her during a tough time and painting me as some selfish villain. I had cousins messaging me, asking why I was being so cold. I didn't even bother responding. If they wanted to believe her lies, that was on them. At one point, they even tried to rope me into hosting family gatherings at my place. It's more convenient for everyone, my mom said, completely ignoring the fact that the last time they were at my apartment, they let sister's kids run wild and ruin my new carpet. When I said no, she acted like I was being difficult. If you don't want to host family, Maybe you shouldn't live alone, she said. I didn't even dignify that with a response. Eventually, I decided enough was enough. I stopped taking their calls and ignored their texts. I told the few family members who were on my side that I was done bending over backward to keep the peace. If my mom and sister wanted to talk to me, they'd have to apologize and take responsibility for their actions. Of course, that hasn't happened. My mom still thinks she did nothing wrong, and sister is still playing the victim. But honestly, I don't care anymore. Rocky and I are doing just fine without their drama.